I built an AI that does my job, and my job is deciding who gets millions of dollars. While you watch this video, the software behind me will screen more startups than my entire fund reviewed last week. No analysts, no interns, just me and code I built myself. Now, here's the insane part. My industry just spent hundreds of billions of dollars on AI that reads documents, analyzes markets, and predicts winners. That is literally my job. Travel agents, bank tellers, coders, every time Silicon Valley automated a job, it was someone else's. This time, the people writing the checks paid for their own replacement. No VC will say this out loud because, for the first time, we're the ones with something to lose. So I'm going to do what nobody in my industry will. I'm taking my own job apart, on camera, piece by piece, and showing you exactly which parts a machine already does better than me. I'll show you the study where an algorithm beat 255 real investors, the system that reaches founders 14 months before they ever ask for money, and the machine that approves startups like mortgages, yes or no, in minutes. Because one of the greatest investors of all time just said only 3 parts of this job will stay human, and he's right. And if you're a VC watching this, one of them probably isn't you. Let's go. First, what does a VC actually do, like all day, every day? Well, strip the mystique and the job is 5 smaller jobs. 1, finding companies. 2, picking which ones to back. 3, winning the deal, convincing the founder to take your money over everyone else's. 4 is helping after the check. And 5, the plumbing, reporting, fund admin, and the unglamorous machinery. AI does not hit these all equally. It hits them in order. So let's audit them one at a time, starting with finding companies. Back in 2012, a firm called SignalFire started building a data platform to find startups. At the time, this was super novel. The founder, Chris Farmer, said everyone thought he was crazy. The conventional wisdom was that early-stage companies had no data worth analyzing. Last year, that crazy idea raised over $1 billion in the hardest fundraising market in years. Their system tracks something like 650 million professionals and 80 million companies, watching GitHub activity, hiring velocity, app rankings, a mini Google for venture if you wish, in Farmer's words. They were the pioneers. Today, it is simply how the industry works. EQT in Europe runs a platform called Motherbrain that gets its investors talking to founders an average of 14 months before those founders even start raising. It found AnyDesk before the company wanted money at all. One of the current biggest firm, Thrive, also built their own system called Puck. So did InReach. They built Dig, and many other firms are doing this now too. One estimate found that AI sourcing surfaces 195 relevant companies in the time it takes a junior analyst to properly evaluate one. And around all this, an entire vendor industry has appeared. Harmonic and a wave of products like it, all selling the same promise to every fund at once. We will find the companies for you. Venture firms have engineering department now. EQT employs 11 product people. Some funds like Headline VC have CTOs and ship software for their own founders, which produces a strange result. When every fund can see every company, well, seeing companies stops being an edge. You almost assume that any company underway is seen by everyone. 20 years ago, knowing a startup before others was half of the game. That half is over. And if you're a founder, stop and take this personally for a second, because it changes how you raise. When you apply for a job at a big company, you know a machine reads your CV before any human does, so you write it for the machine. Pitching VCs now works a little bit the same way, with one difference. The machine is not reading your deck, it is reading your data exhaust, your GitHub commits, your hiring pace, your traffic, your team's LinkedIn profiles, scored weekly by funds you have never spoken to. Remember, EQT's system was meeting founders 14 months before they started raising. which means by the time you send them the deck, most funds machines have already got a read on you. So the practical advice is simple. Your public footprint is your first pitch. Ship visibly, keep the signals clean and current, and assume you're always being read, because you kind of are. The good news is that this is the most meritocratic filter venture has ever had. The machine does not care where you went to school or who introduced you. It cares what you're doing. But if your company is the kind the machines love, you'll have plenty of offers. If your company is the kind that looks like a bad idea, an air mattress company in 2008, well, no machine is coming for you. You will need a human. More on that in a minute. Job 2 is picking. There's a research finding I think about a lot. A study compared an algorithm against 255 angel investors making real early stage bets. On average, the algorithm delivered better returns than the humans. Before you write VC's obituary, the same study found something else. The most experienced investors, specifically the ones able to suppress their own cognitive biases, still beat the algorithm. So yes, a machine outperforms the average investors, but the disciplined expert outperforms the machine. The question every investor should be asking then is, which one am I really? The deeper research is piling up on the same side. Models trained on hundreds of thousands of companies and LLMs assessing founders. Paul Gompers from Harvard has described early-stage investing as gut decisions. And gut decisions are precisely what pattern recognition software eats. Charisma bias, familiarity bias, backing people who remind you of the last winner. A model has none of those weaknesses, and I have all of them like all humans. The most respected voices in the industry have stopped pretending otherwise. Fred Wilson, 40 years in venture, one of the greatest investors alive. He says that his firm, Union Square Ventures, now hands work like data room analysis to AI agents, and that only 3 parts of a venture firm will remain human: developing a thesis, building relationships with founders, and supporting them after the investment. Notice what is missing from his list: the analysis, the screening, the stuff that looks like work. One of the best to ever do this job just told us that most of what a venture firm does will not be done by people. So what is left? Look at Wilson's 3 survivors. All of them are versions of the same thing, and it is the 3rd job on our list. Job 3 is being chosen. One secret about great deals that outsiders never quite believe is that the best rounds are really allocated by the founder. The investor does not pick the company. The top companies, they pick their investors. When a hot round is 5 times oversubscribed, analysis is worthless. Everyone analyzed it, everyone said yes. The only question is whose money the founder takes. No algorithm gets you into that round. What gets you in is that the founder knows you, trusts you, has watched how you treat people, and believes you specifically will be useful at 2 a.m. when something is on fire. Reputation, relationships, vibes. And I use that word deliberately because, like it or not, an enormous amount of venture runs on relationships and vibes. I think this reveals the real story of AI in venture. Venture capital was never primarily an analysis business. It was an access and judgment business. Decks, models, memos, diligence, theater are all background. What remains, being trusted, being chosen, judging what the data cannot see, was always the actual job. Which brings me to the part of this video where I will show you my own cards. Jobs 4 and 5. I run my fund solo. There is a team around me and I'm actively growing the investment side, which might sound like a contradiction in a video about automation, so let me explain. Almost everything a venture firm's junior staff traditionally does, I have built agents for. Sourcing passes, first screen research, batch analysis when a new YC cohort drops, market maps, meeting prep, the plumbing, reporting, tracking, follow-ups. It's not just me either. Many other smaller funds or solo GPs are doing the same. Yohei Nakajima, for example, a solo GP who also happens to have created Baby AGI, the open source project that basically started the autonomous agent wave, he runs something like 20,000 automated tasks a month at his fund and built an AI associate that founder can talk to directly. There's a small cohort of us building like this, and honestly, Yohei does it as well as anyone. So AI does not replace the venture capitalist. It replaces the firm underneath the venture capitalist. The pyramid of associates and analysts and ops people that used to sit below every partner. That pyramid is becoming software. What is left standing is the partner. A few years ago, what I do solo would have required a staff of 10 to 20. That is the same revolution I described in my video about lean startups, arriving at the fund level themselves. Automation frees up exactly the hours the job needs. Every hour an agent spends on a market map is an hour I spend with a founder. The constraint on my fund was never analysis. It was time with people and conviction. I would hire for judgment and relationships, the two things on Fred Wilson's survivor list that do not scale through software. But all of this raises the bigger question. If the machines screen better than the average investor, why keep humans in the decision at all? Should funding work like a bank? Take the logic to its endpoint. Founder uploads the deck, the data room, the metrics. A model prices the round, approved or declined in minutes like a mortgage. No partner meetings, no vibes, no events or hacker days. Fully agentic funds are already being pitched to the market on more or less this promise. It sounds efficient, it might even sound fair, but I do think it misunderstands the asset class at the deepest possible level. A bank loan is priced on the median outcome. Underwriting works because most loans behave like the middle of the distribution, and the middle is knowable. Venture is the opposite business. The entire return of a venture fund comes from the exceptions. The 1 or 2 companies per fund that break every pattern. The job, quite literally, is to fund things that look like they should not work. Now, think about what a model trained on historical data really is. You may have heard AI described as a consensus machine. It has learned with superhuman precision what success predictably looks like. But ask it now about Airbnb in 2008. Strangers sleeping on air mattresses in your apartment? And it does exactly what almost every human investor did at the time. It says no. The best venture deals are the model's false negatives, almost by definition, because a deal the pattern recognizes as a winner is a deal everyone funds at a price that destroys the return. There's research pointing at the same trap too. As more funds adopt AI screening, capital converges. Everyone's models chases the same signals, the same categories, the same profiles. The industry gets more herd-like. And there's one more thing the bank model cannot price. A loan is a transaction at a point in time. A venture investment is a relationship across a decade. The company that gets initially funded is frequently not the company that comes out at the end. It pivoted twice. It had a near-death experience, and what carried out through was people sitting in the mess together. A model can price the pitch. It cannot spend 7 years in the mess. So here is my honest formulation. AI can price what looks right. Venture exists to fund what looks wrong. The better the machines get at the first, the more valuable the humans who can do the second. And the more brutally exposed everyone is in between. What the industry looks like after this, follow that logic, and you can see the shape of venture's future, and it is a barbell, like always. At one end, mega platforms, capital as a commodity delivered at massive scale, run on the best machines. At the other end, small funds built around a person, judgment, taste, access, and a brand founders actually choose. The squeezed middle is the anonymous mid-sized firm, too small for scale, too faceless to be chosen, whose actual product was the analysis that just became free. It also explains something people love to mock: investors becoming media personalities, podcasts, newsletters, YouTube channels. Harry Stebbings raised hundreds of millions off the back of a podcast, and people still think it is a gimmick. But when picking is being commoditized, being chosen is the business, and media is how founders choose you before they ever meet you. Full disclosure, you're watching that exact strategy right now. This channel is part of how founders decide I am worth talking to. If you're a founder or an LP, this changes the question you should ask any investor. Stop asking about their process. The process is increasingly the same software everyone runs. Ask instead, why do founders pick you? And what have you backed that the models would have rejected? Now, let me caveat the case against everything AI. First, the venture industry has heard its own funeral announced before. Crowdfunding was going to replace VC. Angel-less syndicates were going to replace VC. ICOs were absolutely going to replace VCs, and then it was DAOs. Each wave automated a piece of the machinery, and the judgment business absorbed it and carried on. If some of this video sounds like that hype cycle again, that is a fair suspicion, and the burden of proof is on people claiming this time is different. So, will AI take the VC's job? It already took most of it. The research, the screening, the pyramid of analysts, the diligence theater, going or gone, and honestly, good riddance. What it has not touched is the small, strange core. Being the person a founder chooses. Backing the thing models think is a bad idea. Staying through the pivot, the near death, the year nothing works. Venture capital and startups, after all, are not all meant to be predictable or traditional. So AI is not killing venture capital. It is revealing it. Revealing which investors were mostly costume and which ones were doing the irreplaceable thing underneath. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.